All right, guys, welcome back. We have made our way back from Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. For those of you guys that were not following over the weekend or late last week, we made our way to Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania for the 4x4 Jamboree 2025. Have not been to that event since 2004. And actually took my buddy Danny with me, along with Raymond, our main transport guy, Daniel, and we were able to meet a lot of people out there. Customers from the off-road shop, customers from the car lot, followers, subscribers to all the different social medias, from young to old. And I actually came back a little bit humbled from that event. My buddy Danny has been around for, we figured it out over the weekend, right at 30 years. And I met him, crazily enough, truck related. Whole story, whole episode for another day. You can see we're still loaded up out here. We rolled into town we left about 9. We got back home about 6. The weather was torrential here, and it had everything shut down. So we had to take back roads and side roads, and you can imagine pulling these rigs was not that easy, but we were able to maneuver them around, get back safely. Came back yesterday with 0 issues. Going up, we had some problems. But we were sitting there at the booth, and I'll just get into this part first, and I'll give you all a little recap on everything else. We're sitting there in the booth, and Danny, he'd been going through some things, and he was just kind of sitting there chilling, one on his phone, just enjoying being away from the rat race, and just taking it all in. We had our good customers there, the Lynch family, that's bought 2 monster, amazing square bodies from us over the last couple years. And then Tracy Burgess, which is a 25-year-long customer with almost 25 trucks under his belt that he's purchased from us. And they were actually in the booth. We invited those 2 customers to come personally to the event, be in the booth, hang out, eat with us. Raymond kept the cooler ice down. And, you know, customer flow all day, every day. Like, I would sit down, catch a little bit of shade, chug a water, and another person would walk up, which was amazing. And Daniel was the same way. Daniel was with somebody, I was sitting down. I was with somebody, Daniel was sitting down. We were taking breaks, alternating. Danny was trying his best to, he was taking pictures. People were coming up wanting to take pictures with us, passing out business cards. And I don't know what point it was, but, I do know what point it was. So we were trying to figure out what we were putting where. I brought some ATVs and ATCs. I bought some ATCs while we were there and ATVs. We were trying to determine what was going in what truck. And we had taken 2 of the large benches, the tailgate benches that we had built. And we were trying to figure out where they were going. Well, that reminded me, as we were loading up on Friday or Thursday at the last minute, we're getting tools, we're getting jacks, we're getting lug wrenches, we're getting everything prepared. And I said, you know what? Let's take a couple benches. I want to give those as a reward, prize, whatever you want to call it, for these customers taking the time to come to this event and be there. We used them all weekend. They were great. I said, so we're not taking those back with us. I said, surprise, guys. Those are for you guys, for coming out and supporting things. We really appreciate it. And Danny just shook his head. He said, and he wasn't speaking to anybody. And I don't even think he was even meant for me to hear it. He said, you know what? He said, this man went from not being able to afford to put gas in his truck to go to the beach to being able to give things away to people, just out of goodness, just out of, whatever. I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but it sent chills down me, and I literally sat down beside him. I said, man, I gave him a little fist bump. I said, you know what, bud, we've had some good times. And I said, we are very blessed. And we are. My friends from that time, basically straight out of high school on, were like sons to my dad. My dad always called Danny, which I didn't even know this till this weekend. His real name isn't even Daniel. He shares the same birthday with Daniel. We've always known that. My brother Daniel, but it's actually Danny Bartholomew, not Daniel. My dad always called him Daniel. My dad was always big about calling people by their real name. And I think a couple people standing there kind of overheard. I said, you know what, guys? I said, what he just said was more than true. And I said, I can't be more thankful to where we're at. Hard work, dedication, none of it was given to us to get to the point where we're at. And I love giving back like that to our customers. Those benches, you know, they'll take them home. They'll sit on them for years. Hopefully they enjoy them. But Dandy's right. Used to be me and 2 other buddies. So it's 4 of us. Literally would have to go and split a room so that we could all afford to go to the beach. And I'd have to ration my money to put fuel in my truck to go to the beach. God forbid I had something break ahead of time that I had to buy. It was crazy. So I also remember as those guys come up, 5 minutes after that, we were getting ready to leave. We had some pizzas that were left over. There was a group of guys behind us, younger guys. They were having a good time, guys and girls. They were partying, drinking, you know, but they were very respectful, I will say. That group was really good. And I said, hey, guys, these pizzas are brand new. I said, we didn't eat them all. It's too hot. Y'all soak up some alcohol with them. And dude said, JW, thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you. I didn't ever tell the guy my name. I never introduced myself. And then another guy came up right behind him and said, dude, we watch your YouTube and social media all the time, man. You're killing it. And this group of guys was me at that age. Super, super cool to see. Living their dream with the trucks. They might not have had enough money to go get pizza, you know? I don't know. But it's just looking back and looking to where we were, it's, I don't even know how to put it. But thanks to everybody that supported us along the way. Thanks to everybody that's been a part of this business, the off-road shops business, all the different businesses. Saturday morning I woke up. You got to clip some of this together. So if you're still with us, we're going to put the Bloomsburg stuff at the end. We're going to keep on plugging a little bit of it because I don't want it to get overwhelming. We got a lot of footage from the show. But woke up on Saturday morning to a text from my marina manager of a sunk boat. Sunk. Here's a picture. And unfortunately, he was having to scramble and get the safety stuff around it to surround any kind of spills or anything like that. There's never a dull moment. They were having to take care of things at the office while I wasn't here. They did a great job. AJ maneuvered vehicles around. Christian got things on the internet. Mike got multiple things sold. So that was a great thing. All the trucks came back in one piece. We had some blowouts going up. Brown Bear had a little issue with a radiator hose or a heater hose. We haven't had a chance to look at that yet, but that truck hasn't had but maybe 3 miles put on it, 5 miles put on it since we completed it. So we're going to get that addressed this morning. Dave's will take care of fixing that and all the other issues that came about. But was very successful as far as the trip goes. Dave needs me real quick, so pause it real quick. All right, so enough of that sappy stuff. I was having a little moment. I've had a little moment ever since coming back because having kids come up that watch the channel, and I mean, yes, there's cool stuff every day. Monster trucks, mega trucks. I mean, there's a lot of everything. I don't think it's, as interesting as what me as a kid at 6 or 8 or 10 years old, like some of the kids that came up would watch. And I promised them all, I said, look, we're going to have some more fun stuff. We're going to take the time to get away. We've got all the GoPro stuff now. We've got the gimbals. We've got the GoPro. We've got the drone. We're going to capture us having the fun, ripping these trucks in the mud. We're going to capture a lot more of that stuff. We're not just going to be as much, day-to-day. We'll still have our day-to-day, but we'll have some other cool stuff too. But even 70-year-old men, 6 and 7-year-old kids, everything in between coming up, introducing themselves, getting shirts, getting hats, getting business cards. One of the funny parts was a lot of the women would come up and actually say something before the guys. And I will tell you just, if you're at an event and we're there, me, Daniel, Brian, anybody, any of my guys, we'll talk to you as long as we have the time. But if you don't come up and introduce yourself, we don't know. We don't want to bug you. Just like here at the car lot. If you're out here just nosying around, we will not come out there and bug you. If we're walking by, I might say, hey, can we help you with something? Nope, just looking. Cool, no problem. We're back. We're going to the office. We're coming across the street. We don't bug people. And same way at the events. And I know years ago people used to be like, oh my God, they're kind of stuck up. Well, if we don't know, if you don't come and talk to us, we're not gonna come up and bug you. If you want to look at our product or look at the trucks, we're absolutely not gonna come up and bend your ear for no reason. We want people to flow freely. But a lot of the women came up before the men would come up and say, I just wanted to introduce ourselves. You're in my house every day. At first I was like, huh? In your house? And then it caught on. They were watching our YouTube. Or you're in my kitchen every morning watching the channel. And it makes it worthwhile to us. And a lot of people, like especially Danny and the customers that were there, which are also faithful watchers of the channel, the Lynch, Mr. John Lynch, that's how he found the first vehicle that he bought from us. He saw it on the channel. It was in the background. It had just arrived. And he called right away. He said, JW, I want that truck. I had one in high school. I want to figure things out. I was like, no problem. I said, that truck is weeks, if not months from being ready. It's a cool truck, but it needs da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he said, well, if I get it, I want to add da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I said, not a problem. We can do all that. Some of that stuff we hadn't ever done before, like the power steps on an old school Blazer. But we were able to do it all. What are some other good moments? Oh, well, you just saw we picked up some ATVs along the way. We had a customer just before we left. We'll show you his truck. Just before we left, he was kind of on the fence about the brown short bed, two-tone brown truck that we had come in. That was a full frame-off restoration truck. And he wanted to do some changes. Well, at the last minute, he said, yeah, I want that truck. He said, I got an idea. He said, how about I buy that truck, you bring it to the show, and I'll send you my other truck back because I got a list of things I want to do to that one and lift it and everything else. So lo and behold, that's what happened. And when somebody's seeing a truck for the first time, usually it's Raymond or a transport guy delivering the truck. They're usually not here in person, so we don't get to see them as much like that. So we got it to the show, we parked it. Turns out they were staying in the same hotel as us. And him and his wife came over and they were looking at everything. And I'd already showed them, hey, it's got a little scratch here. It's got a little ding here. It's got this and that and the other. You guys know we try to describe everything pretty accurately. And you can see him looking at everything, touching everything. Finally, I had a break between customers and setting the tent up and everything else. And I said, hey, he was like, man, awesome. Love it. I said, well, it's yours, man. Have at it. Whatever you want to do. He said, no. He said, I love this. I had the red truck in the trailer over there sitting beside it. He said, I want that package on that truck, which is the 2.0 package. No problem. I want you to talk to Daniel. Daniel ended up walking up, talking to him, looking at their truck, giving them some ideas. And that went super duper smooth. He said, man, and I knew he was going to be excited about his new truck. Why wouldn't you be? He said, can you throw a tag on it and let me drive it Saturday night? I'd love to enjoy it a little. No, Friday night. I think we're going to head home on Saturday, so we have some time at home on Sunday. They've been traveling a lot. I said, sure, not a problem. So we put a tag on it, hid the keys. He left the show with it, went to dinner, texted me, dude, I love it. I think I'm just going to hold on to it. I'll put it in the show tomorrow, which was Saturday, and then when we're ready to go home, we'll just go home. I'm going to leave you the keys to the other truck. You guys load that up when you want and go back home. Perfect. Could not have worked out any better. As a matter of fact, he's interested in the Blazer, so I need to get with him this morning. Daniel's going to get with him probably tomorrow. Daniel's going to be super busy today getting orders out. Phenomenal amount of stuff that Daniel's will come back to, getting orders out, getting things shuffled around. Tracy Burgess was there with this short bid, step side, baby blue truck. He came up to me and said, JW, I think it's time. I said, okay. He said, let's put the truck up for sale. I said, that's fine. That has happened 20 plus times in my lifetime with Tracy. He enjoys the truck. He gets it to a finished level and he's ready for a new project. Nothing wrong with the truck. The truck runs and drives great. He enjoys it. He was there with his lady and they both loved it. He's put all his personal touches on it. Davis Off-Road's done their personal touches on it. It's got basically the 1.0 package. And 1.0, 2.0, it's not about the price and the equipment, it's about the size. So still got all the best components you can put on it, just a little bit shorter. He said, I'm ready for something different. He said, I don't know quite yet, you know what, but I got an idea. I'm not going to spoil that idea. I'm going to let that be his surprise. So that truck officially went up for sale. So I don't know if he dropped it off. He said he might, but I think he ran into weather problems coming home too, just like we did. This area was flooded a couple hours before we got home. South of here where we live, cars had water flowing through them. It was bad. It was really bad. So we had a heck of a storm. Palm trees got plenty of water, so we don't have to worry about that, AJ. Grimace, I've got a big, full story about Grimace that is very touching. Some that were there witnessed it. I'm going to do a whole separate video about that because I don't want to make this video too long. But and it's Monday, and I do have to get caught up on a lot of stuff. A few days out of the office puts you really behind. But something really special happened with Grimace, and I want you guys to be able to partake into that. You're going to love it a whole lot. And we also had a ballot box for the 10-door on how to do the steps. Of course, Daniel and Brian can do anything. Like, they'll fabricate it. They'll do it any way that needs to be done. But we wanted y'all to be part of it. And there was a landslide of a win of how to do it. And it's actually the way we kind of wanted to do it. But we were going to leave it up to the viewers and the people stopping by of how the steps are going to go. I'll let Daniel announce that part of it, how that went. The red truck is back home. And as we said, that truck is sold to one of our local customers. He's going to do a few changes to it. We got to put the different wheels on it. Got a Mojave in the back. I didn't have a Mojave, a 4-wheel Mojave. Raymond met the guy for that. Found it on Facebook. This way? All right. Found it on Facebook. He said, dude, you don't have one of these. I said, nope, I don't. I've always wanted one. And it was pretty cheap. So he said, no problem. He messaged the guy. The guy said, yeah, I'm not too far from the fairgrounds. He said, I don't necessarily want to come to the fair, but I'll meet you. So I gave Raymond the cash. I said, go meet the guy. I drove him down to the gate he was at, which was about a mile away from the gate we were at. Big facility, guys. Big facility. So Raymond goes through the gate, goes out, pays the man, gets on the four-wheeler. I said, if you got any trouble, I'll meet you at the gate. We're walking around. I'm talking to people, talking to vendors. And he texted me. He said, hey, man, I don't know if I ran out of gas or what happened, but I broke down. So he didn't even make it back. We had to go load it up. Turns out the petcock was leaking fuel, so I got to fix that. No surprise. Another thing, big controversy online. Pulling Fords with Chevys, and why do we not drive these trucks? The reason we did not drive them is, one, we didn't have enough drivers. 2, we left at night, and we drove basically through the night. We got there about 1:30. All the trucks we took are 40-plus years old. They have things that break, just like Brown Bear. It broke. It had not been on the road. It had not been proven. If it was just me and Daniel taking a trip, or me, Danny, Daniel, and Raymond taking a trip, no women, no families, we used to have a great time having problems, having issues. We fix them. We're mechanical people. It's challenging, but we did not want to have our families on the side of the road with an issue with these trucks at midnight when you can't get to a parts store or something. Again, if a parts store is open, it's not hardly anything. We had tools with us. We could fix just about anything. And why do we pick Fords? Well, one, they were just the most convenient because they had the ball in the bid already. That's one Ford over there that we use religiously for towing anyway. We love Chevrolets. So yeah, we got a lot of flack. Ford's pulling Chevys, Ford's pulling Chevys. Every truck on these trailers would have made the drive 6 to 7 hours without a doubt. But it's also kind of silly. Why put wear and tear on boggers with no AC? The Suburban actually is the only one that doesn't have AC. Everybody, all the others have great AC. Suburban AC does not work properly. But why torture ourselves when we could get in a brand new truck and cruise comfortably with massaging seats, with Bluetooth? So we didn't torture ourselves just to prove a point. We can, if anybody wants to doubt it, we can surely jump in these trucks and go anywhere we want to go, because back home, we are in them all the time. And that was the other fun thing, was we had a ton of people comment on social media that they'd seen these trucks. We had 2 grown men, different groups, 50 to 60-year-old, and then actually one of them was even younger. It's 3 passed us in Grimace and said, they just literally yelled out, "Grimace! We just passed Grimace!" They were so freaking excited that they saw Grimace in the wild. We drove that every day. We drove it to and from with everybody in it, to dinner. Everywhere we went, we drove Grimace. The kids had a great time. I'm going to cut it right here. I'm going to let AJ clip in a few little things at the end here, and we'll bring you a full episode, nothing but, you don't have to listen to me talk, of the recap of Bloomsburg Jamboree 2025. I think it was a huge success. Look forward to it next year. We're going to really bring some cool stuff next year and prepare for it ahead of time. Thanks, guys, for the support. Thanks for watching. Thanks as always.